Hello and welcome to a new edition of Global Lens. I'm Parikshit Luthra. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met his British counterpart Keir Starmer in Mumbai today for a high-level bilateral meeting. The two leaders discussed ways to deepen cooperation across business, trade, education, defence at a joint press conference. Prime Minister Modi said ties between India and the UK are defined by trustworthiness, talent, technology, adding that the upcoming trade agreement will open new opportunities for youth and industries in both nations. The India-UK CETA offers duty-free access to nearly 99% of Indian exports, supporting MSMEs and creating jobs across sectors like textiles, marine products, leather footwear, sports, goods, toys and gems and jewellery. It also opens new opportunities for engineering goods, auto parts, organic chemicals. Prime Minister Starmer called the deal really important, describing it as the biggest trade agreement the UK has signed since Brexit. Both sides agreed to strengthen collaboration in technology, innovation, education, investment and climate research. They also announced the establishment of a joint connectivity and innovation centre and an India-UK joint centre for artificial intelligence. The leaders unveiled the second phase of the UK-India Critical Minerals Supply Chain Observatory, alongside plans for a new satellite campus at IIT ISM Dhanbad. 9 British universities will also set up campuses across India. A new joint investment in a climate technology startup fund will be launched. A partnership between the UK government and the State Bank of India to support innovative entrepreneurs is also taking place. Finally, Prime Minister Starmer announced that 3 major Bollywood blockbusters will be filmed in the UK starting next year. Yash Raj Films confirmed plans to begin production in early 2026, a move expected to create over 3,000 jobs and boost the UK economy by millions of pounds. Joining us now to take the discussion forward is Vikram Doraiswami, India's ambassador to the UK. Ambassador Doraiswami, thank you very much. It's been a long day for you, but very, very productive, I assume. Let me begin by asking you, this is not just about an FTA. You've got an India-UK Vision Plan 2035. You've got a defence industrial roadmap. Where does this leave the India-UK partnership for the future for both countries? How important is the development that has taken place today for the next 10 years?
Thank you for having me on the show. I think it's important that we recognize that the CETA, the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, is really the turning point or the hinge point of taking our relationship to a new forward-looking futuristic partnership. A partnership in which we are invested in each other's opportunities and one in which the UK recognizes that India is a growth pole for the world and that a partnership, a strong strategic partnership with India is in the interests of both countries. So there is the technology piece that you talked about. There is the climate change and green energy transitions piece that you talked about. There is the vital education piece that we talked about. Education is simply of critical importance for us, but it is also for the UK. It is one of their biggest exports, services export for the UK. So, there is that criticality. And looking ahead in an uncertain and insecure world, the defense partnership is also of great value. And as you can see, one of the commitments is the finalization of a partnership on electric propulsion for naval systems. We have the Carrier Strike Group from the UK doing, for the first time, a twin carrier exercise, meaning our carrier is exercising with their carrier. That includes cross-deck landings. We also have an upgraded partnership. We're working on jet engines together. We also have our Indian Air Force pilots for the first time. Our qualified flying instructors will be included as faculty, as instructors in the UK, in the Royal Air Force's fighter flying training program for their young pilots. So our guys will be actually offering instruction to RAF pilots. There's a whole bunch of things that are moving forward.
Right. So Prime Minister Starmer has said that Indian companies will create investments of at least £1.3 billion in the near future. If we speak about UK's investments into India via FDI, what will be some of the focus areas where you will be trying to make sure that concrete investment commitments come to India?
So our focus is on ensuring that we step up the opportunity that India offers to the UK and, of course, to the world, in which our innovative capabilities, our ecosystem for technology adaptation, and from the manufacturing ecosystem that we offer at highly preferential costs can be tapped in. So in other words, come here, make in India, make for the world. The UK's existing strengths in terms of industrial design, Industry 4.0, in metallurgy, in advanced materials, in life sciences and healthcare, even in areas of criticality such as engine systems, propulsion technologies. All of these are of great value to us. So of course we're very interested in that. But beyond that, the UK also offers us an opportunity as a partner to leverage high quality financial services in deepening and making more sophisticated our financial services sector. So we're actually looking at making some of that work. And that is in a way that it is a win-win for both sides. It's really important that both sides get benefit out of this because that's what makes the partnership sustainable.
Right. Ambassador, I'd also like to ask you about the banking and the insurance sector. While this deal is yet to be ratified, are you seeing increased investment from UK companies in investing in India's banking sector, also in the insurance sector?
Definitely. I mean, I think the reforms that the government has announced, Finance Ministry announced reforms, including to liberalize some of the investment limits on insurance. I'm sorry about the lighting. I'm in the middle of the road, actually. So it's a little bit of a challenge. We stopped the car, but there's all sorts of traffic happening at the same time. This is Bombay, after all. Absolutely, they are interested in stepping up their stake. A lot of our premier financial services companies are connected with the UK financial services ecosystem. And that opportunity will only strengthen as our system becomes even more open to the world.
Right. Ambassador Doraiswami, I'd like to ask you about the defense partnership. So there were two major defense aspects that were announced. One, to finalize an intergovernmental agreement on cooperation developing maritime electric propulsion systems for the Indian naval platforms. And the second was to proceed on a government-to-government contract on supply of lightweight multi-role missile systems. Could you give us a sense of what will be the total quantum or the value of this deal? Because certain UK papers have pegged these deals at over £600 million.
Well, it's always a bad idea to speculate too much about how much the dollar value of these things are or the pound value of these things are. But absolutely, look, the important part about the marine propulsion piece, it's a transfer of technology and an absorption of technology piece. That has criticality for the Indian Navy in being able to increase the sort of quality of operation of some of our vessels, in particular vessels that are used in support like LPDs, etc. So too complex weapon systems such as missiles. Those are again critical, and the opportunity to work with leaders in the space of laser beam guiding missiles, of short-range air defense missiles. All of that is essential for India to continue to step up its air defense capabilities, so much of which were recently and rather effectively demonstrated to be of high quality. So for me, it isn't so much the dollar value of the deals, it is the quality of what we're getting.
All right. When we speak about the auto sector, give us a sense of the kind of access the Indian automobile sector, large SUV makers, motorcycle makers are going to get in the UK market.
This is a significant piece of the sort of pie for both sides. We are actually in a very interesting space where, when you look at internal combustion engines, ICE engines, we actually operate largely in different spaces. Ours are in the small, medium, and SUV segment. The UK is in premium SUV and premium segments of the automobile ecosystem. And of course, there is the component piece again, where we are significant players. We have a lot to be able to offer the UK industry. As our companies get more sophisticated in terms of the quality of product that we're able to offer, I believe we will be very competitive in what is an extremely discerning and important market. The other way around, also for the UK, that's also an important market. Our high value sales of premium cars, for instance, is a really important part of the attraction of the Indian market. And as we move towards electric vehicles in both our countries, there's again space there for us to explore. So I think for us, we are really looking at the UK as a market. If we can start getting a strong foothold in the UK market, particularly for high quality cars, but also for premium motorcycles, Enfield is already available in India, in the UK, for instance. Our Royal Enfield motorcycles in a lovely inversion are now being sold in the UK. We can step up all of that now as the FTA comes into force.
All right. And very quickly, sir, very briefly, by when do you expect this to be ratified? I believe you're already meeting parliamentarians in the UK to try and speed up the ratification process.
Very much so. Look, I mean, every country has a process of their own, and we have to respect that. In the UK, these require a certain level of first parliamentary committees to examine it, and then it is actually taken to Parliament. The good news piece is that our British colleagues are quite confident that um, the package is not seen to be particularly challenging in terms of what it might require by way of process, in terms of what the UK Parliament may have to ask for. So I don't want to speak for somebody else because this is not in our hands. But the sense we have from all of the leading political parties in India, that in the UK, is that this isn't seen as a problem. Everybody is very enthusiastic. Business is supportive. Each of the UK's nations, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, is extremely interested in making this work. So we hope in the first few months of the next year, we should see strong progress. And of course, we are very keen to work with our British partners to make sure we help them deliver this as quickly as possible.
All right. So maybe the first few months of next year when we will see some progress on the ratification. Thank you very much, Ambassador Doraiswami.
Yes, but don't hold me to that. That isn't in my hands. It's in their hands.
It's a political process. It's a parliamentary process. But thank you so much for giving us a sense of where things stand and why this FTA is historic for both countries.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Let's move on. Over 125 of the UK's most prominent CEOs, entrepreneurs and cultural leaders joined Prime Minister Keir Starmer on his visit to India, marking the largest ever British government trade mission to the country. Major names included Rolls-Royce, British Telecom and Diageo, among others. The new trade deal, which lowers tariffs on British goods, is set to turbocharge business ties between the two nations. Trade between India and the UK is already worth over $54 billion, supporting more than 600,000 jobs across both countries. Starmer's visit is expected to create another 7,000 new jobs in the UK, backed by a wave of fresh deals. Meanwhile, 64 Indian investors have reaffirmed their confidence in the United Kingdom, collectively investing £1.3 billion into some of Britain's fastest growing sectors. The trade pact is projected to boost the UK's GDP by £4.8 billion annually and increase bilateral trade by £25.5 billion each year, with British exports to India expected to grow by nearly 60%. All right, joining me right now is Lord Karan Bilimoria, member of the UK Parliament. Thank you very much for joining us, Lord Bilimoria. Let me begin by asking you about your key takeaways from UK Prime Minister's visit to India.
Starmer bringing a huge delegation, one of the biggest ever from the UK to India, 125 business leaders, university leaders, leaders of business associations like the International Chamber of Commerce, which I chair, the CBI, which I was president of the Federation of British Industry, and ministers, as well as the press. This has not happened for 9 years. And the last 2 days, we've achieved so much in the interaction that we've had with the UK and India here in Mumbai. The welcome we were given after we landed, I've never seen a welcome like that in the 20 years in which I've been coming on these delegations, going back to Prime Minister Tony Blair, then Gordon Brown, David Cameron, Theresa May. Nothing has been the warm welcome, the posters lining the road from the airport all the way to the hotel we're staying at. The welcome that was given, unprecedented. And the free trade agreement that you have just spoken about, which was signed in July. We are here in India less than 3 months after the signing of that free trade agreement. And that free trade agreement is a landmark because it took 3.5 years to negotiate. It was signed in July at Chequers by Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And that free trade agreement is in the backdrop of the 6th largest economy in the world, the UK, and the 4th largest economy in the world, India. And yet, India is only the 11th largest trading partner of the UK. It should be one of the handful of biggest trading partners of the UK.
Lord Bilimoria, when it comes to investments from India to the United Kingdom, one of the points that the Prime Minister of UK stressed on, that this would immediately create about 1.3 billion pounds of investments into the UK from different Indian companies. But when it comes to inward investments from UK into India, what will be some of the interest areas for UK companies? You've been a part of the business delegations through the day. You've heard different business leaders, the prime ministers of the two countries. What do you think will be the areas of interest for UK companies looking to invest in India?
Yes, we've had this announcement of £1.3 billion being invested by Indian companies into the UK, creating 7,000 jobs. And this is wonderful news. The other way, the announcement hasn't officially come out yet, but it's also going to be a huge amount of investment from British companies into India in a variety of different sectors, including in education. It is only recently that India has allowed foreign universities to open up campuses. And British universities are right up there because British universities are the best in the world, along with American universities. 4 out of the top 10 universities in the world are British universities. And we have 9 university vice chancellors on this visit, many of whom have already committed to opening up campuses all over India, from Bangalore to Mumbai to Gift City to Gurgaon, Delhi. It's wonderful news. And this has only just started. Last month, I led a first time ever delegation of UK business schools to India. 33 UK business schools came to India, interacting with Indian business schools. And they are so keen to open up. And in India, this is a big opportunity for India, for Indian students, and for the UK.
I'd like to ask you about the alcohol and spirits industry.
Yes.
What do you think is the prospect of exports to India?
Well, the reduction of duties on Scotch whisky and gin, for example, from 150% coming down eventually to 40% is wonderful news. It's been so high, and India is the largest Scotch whisky market in the world. This will generate an extra £1 billion for the UK Scotch whisky market and for Scotland and the United Kingdom. And also what is good news is that Indian whiskies are fantastic and are going to be exported more and more, and I hope including to the UK. So this is both ways, this FTA.
Right. Also to ask you about the large defense deal that has been agreed upon in principle. We believe from the Indian side that certain approvals are yet to come in. But how significant is going to be the defense partnership between the two countries as a driving force for businesses?
It has always been the case that the UK has one of the best defense industries in the world, whether it's aerospace, whether it's our ships. We've just had a huge order from Norway for our shipbuilding frigates, whether it's submarines. We are very well known for our expertise in defense industry. India is increasingly wanting to manufacture defense within India and has a target of manufacturing being 25% of GDP. And this is a great, great potential for the two countries to partner in defense manufacturing.
Right. You know, when it comes to the financial sector, what kind of growth do you expect in the flow of capital between the two countries in the next few years as a result of this FTA?
Yes, I mean, here we are attending the FinTech Fest, which took place at the Geo Center in BKC in Mumbai. What an amazing festival, celebrating FinTech in India, but also celebrating FinTech between the UK and India. And this is, again, an area with huge, huge potential, because when it comes to AI and data science, the UK has phenomenal expertise. When it comes to FinTech, the UK is one of the capitals in the world. And when it comes to FinTech finance, the City of London is one of the capitals in the world. And of course, India has phenomenal expertise in the FinTech and the unicorns that are being generated in India. And this is where the partnerships between the two countries, we had so many British companies, FinTech companies like Revolut, that are actually now operating in India and literally flying within a few years, millions of customers. You have FinTech companies that are financing medium and small enterprises, MSMEs in India, which is, again, enabling so many small businesses, thanks to technology and FinTech, to be able to grow in India, and the same in the UK.
All right, on that note, we take a short break, but don't go anywhere. We continue to decode the historic FTA between India and the UK with K. Rajaraman, Chairperson of the International Financial Services Centre Authority. Stay tuned for that on the other side. Welcome back to Global Lens. Now, let's deep dive into India's bilateral trade deal with the United Kingdom. Also, the state of play when it comes to bilateral trade and investments. In FY25, the bilateral trade between both nations stood at £44 billion, an increase of 10% compared to FY24, with UK exports to India amounting to £17.5 billion and India's exports to UK at £27 billion. India is UK's 11th largest trading partner now. Turning to FDI flows, UK is the 6th largest investor in India and has invested around $36 billion between April 2000 to December 2024. That's not all. In 2023, the foreign direct investment in the UK from India was £12 billion by 2023, and from UK to India was at £18 billion. India has invested in 108 projects and created 7,533 new jobs in the UK as the second largest source of FDI in October 2020. The two countries had established a new UK-India strategic collaboration on GIFT IFSC in April 2025. The 13th Economic and Financial Dialogue meeting was held with a focus on enhancing knowledge exchange, cooperation and support to further infrastructure development priorities, robust fintech partnership and sustainable finance. We're now joined by Rajaraman, Chairperson of International Financial Services Centre Authority, to discuss how IFSC will be important for UK-India financial services and fintech cooperation. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Rajaraman. Let me begin by asking you, how do you see India is going to benefit with this trade deal, and how will capital flows to India increase as a result?
The decision by the government of India to sign the FTA and operationalize it soon is actually a big step forward in actually enabling collaboration between the two countries. UK can bring in a lot of technology to India, which is a very large market. India requires a lot of technology in terms of renewable energy, in terms of new sectors like battery manufacture, hydrogen technology, and so on and so forth. Similarly, I think the Indian companies which are wanting to tap into the UK market, there are a number of fintechs in India which want to probably expand and open a bridge to the other side of the border where a huge diaspora population exists. So I guess this FTA means a very, very big step forward in terms of enabling greater trade as well as investment between both countries. When it comes to investment, let me say that India, besides attracting investment in terms of manufacturing, in terms of infrastructure, etc., will also now look at green as a very, very important element, green and sustainable investments. So with a very large renewable energy program of about 500 gigawatt by 2030, out of which about 240 has already been commissioned, there is a great possibility of UK companies investing into these opportunities. Similarly, the hydrogen mission and the other manufacturing part of the renewable energy mission, which includes manufacture of solar cells, the grid storage batteries, and so on and so forth, present a wonderful opportunity. Coming to GIFT City, I think the opportunity lies in actually using GIFT City as a platform for capital raise for Indian corporates to actually to do all these elements of business, which include investments into infrastructure, investments into the manufacturing sector, venture capital, and so on and so forth.
Right. Going forward, how do you see the role of IFSC in attracting capital into India? You mentioned green and sustainable finance as a priority push. Would there be other areas where you are seeking investments? The reason why I asked, sir, in February this year, you had visited London to meet people across the fintech sector and the financial ecosystem. Which would be some of the priority areas for you where you would like to push investments?
Yes. So, during our visit and followed by another visit by the Honorable Finance Minister, we could see a very large interest in terms of investing into India in several key sectors. One of them being the green and sustainable energy. So there are a very large number of asset management companies in London which are focusing on infrastructure, and we could see a very strong interest in green shipping and shipbuilding as well. I think very recently one of the asset management companies has signed an MOU with the shipping ministry, and also is working on in floating a ship leasing company out of GIFT City, and they are very keen to kind of finance shipbuilding activities in India as well. So, in addition to that, I think the London is also a very strong center of sustainable finance. So, we in GIFT City we have a renewable energy sustainable bond framework. We have a ESG fund framework, and also we have given a strong directive to all the banks here to lend at least 5% of their portfolio on green and sustainable. So all this brings the possibility of pooling in green capital, I think which looks at green, renewable and sustainable opportunities. It also brings the opportunity of actually pooling in blended finance from institutions which are willing to strongly support the green agenda. On top of that, let me also say that there is strong interest from the UK, which is a center of insurance. I think, in fact, UK has been for a long time a very strong center for insurance and reinsurance. We are seeing a lot of interest in London-based companies in actually bringing in reinsurance capacity for India as well.
So when it comes to the banking and the insurance sector specifically, how do you expect recent reforms by the government and the interventions made by the RBI will encourage investments?
Yes, so we have seen a strong element of reforms in terms of all the regulators. I think the insurance regulator has actually enabled reinsurance companies to come to GIFT City by giving them a priority in terms of no collateral required if they set up operations in GIFT City. So we have seen at least about 8 reinsurance companies already registered with us, and at least half a dozen others which are in the process of applying for building reinsurance companies in GIFT City. This means that India will get access to a lot more reinsurance capacity within its own shores. Similarly, I think if you look at the credit markets in GIFT City, I think the RBI's recent announcement about allowing exporters to actually retain at least 3 months of their proceeds in GIFT City, as against 1 month in other foreign jurisdictions, brings in a great opportunity for exporters to use GIFT City as a platform to raise trade finance. Banks here will access more liquidity, and the ability of SMEs to actually raise trade finance out of GIFT City also goes up significantly. Let me also say that I think the current regulations in GIFT City has undergone some transformation. The fund management regulations have undergone a bout of reforms, and they are a lot more simpler. I think we have lowered the barriers for smaller fund managers and so on and so forth. So with all this, we expect more capital flows into India using GIFT City as the route. Just to give a small a piece of statistic, in the last year, I think about $61 billion of ECB flows happened into India. So these are all external commercial borrowings. About 31% of that came through GIFT City, with GIFT City contributing about $19 billion. This number is likely to go up as more and more banks like Standard Chartered actually, and many other banks like HSBC expand their operations in GIFT City. Let me also add that GIFT City ecosystem is now becoming more efficient. Last week, 3 days back, the Honorable Finance Minister also launched the foreign currency settlement system, in which UK bank, the Standard Chartered Bank, has participated as a settlement bank. So this implies that the GIFT City financial markets will get more efficient with real-time flows of capital.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Rajaraman, for joining us with your perspective on the India-UK Free Trade Agreement and how Indian companies are set to benefit.
One more point which I would like to add, if you allow me to do that, is also about the 3 UK universities which have actually set up operations. Today we have also issued the in-principle approval for the University of Surrey to set up a branch campus in GIFT City, and there are already 2 universities which are on the process of launching their branch campuses. So there will be 3 UK universities in GIFT City, which include the Queen's University Belfast, the Coventry University, and the University of Surrey, which will launch their courses sometime in the middle of next year. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Rajaraman, thank you very much for joining us with that complete perspective. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Global Lens. More news and updates on the other side.